This is Jerry being Yellow, and welcome to another fun deck profile for you. Today we have, oh look, another Exodia deck. This is once again brought to us by ExodiaJohnny. We were making this deck profile just to kind of show off, you know, some of the better decks. I can't say better because we never tried topping with them, but... So let's get started. As Jerry Green had showed you earlier, he had Heart of Exodia. Well, I have Hope for Exodia, which is Hope for Escape Exodia. And this is where my build starts. Obviously, as I showed off, 5 pieces of Exodia. Pretty self-explanatory. 3 Swift Scarecrow, because your main goal here is to avoid glare, is to control what damage you're taking in. So, I run 2 copies of Crystal Seer. It's personal tech preference. I like to be able to get that extra 2 views of a card. And then 1 Grand Mole, because I like to say, oh, you have a big monster on board, or in this current format you have a El Shaddai Winda, and I send it back. Basically to interrupt any of my opponent's big plays, because I'm not using my normal summon anyway, unless I'm summoning out a Crystal Seer to look at extra 2 cards. Actually on that topic, these 3, most players could say you can replace with, you know, copies of Card Car. That glare is terrible, I apologize. Replace with copies of Card Car. I just prefer Crystal Seer and Mole, so... Next, that's it for monsters, by the way. Next we have 3 upstarts. And once again, you're letting your opponent gain life points, because Hope for Exodia deals with having separation and life points. So, 3 upstarts, give your opponent life points, let you draw. 2 Messenger of Peace. Once again, it lets your opponent gain life points. Yeah, it takes 10 turns to actually make a difference unless you have both on board. But it also stops them from making their plays and, you know, attacking you. So, it's got its upsides. 1 copy of MST. I don't like Royal Decree, because this deck is very trap heavy. So, that 1 copy, you draw into it, you pop whatever you need. Magical Mallet helps you trade out things that you don't need at the time. Maybe a early Hope for Escape. Or things like, you know, Card Trader, which is just another personal tech preference from when I used to play. I played a game, or a deck that revolved around Card Trader, Skelengel, and it was crazy. It was high school. What can we say? Dark Factory Mass Production, in case my opponent plays something that makes me discard one of my arms, legs, something, I can always get them back. On to traps. The newest member of this deck, Try and Guess. Try and guess why we play it. And there's a reason for this. I mean, it's essentially your second playset of gift card. And we'll get to that in a little bit, so I'll set it off to the side. 3 copies of Threatening Roar, because as I've already said, we try as hard as we can to control what damage we're taking in. Yes, this means that you have to ignore the whole battle phase. You can't let your opponent attack at all. But you can play around it. Once again, it's necessary to help control what you're doing. A lot of the things you don't see. 3 copies of the Eye of Truth. As long as your opponent has a spell in their hand during the standby phase, they gain 1,000 life points. And you get to see their hand during the entire time period, which is amazing. The reason I run that in here is because I run 2... or 3, I dropped 1 for Threatening Roar, copies of Mind Crush. Once again, this is to help control what your opponent is doing. If you see something in their hand with the Eye of Truth that you don't want them to have, just bounce it, get rid of it. Or, not bounce it, trash it. But once again, gives your opponent 1,000 life points, which is great for Hope for Escape. Your 3 copies of Gift Card, give your opponent 3,000 life points. Pretty self-explanatory. Reckless Greed gets you through that extra 2 cards. An early one can sometimes kill you, though. And finally, 3 copies of Hope for Escape. Now for those of you who are watching the channel that aren't aware of what Hope for Escape does, you activate it if your opponent's life points are at least 1,000 higher than yours, which is easy through most of the cards we have in the deck. And then, for every, you pay 1,000 life points, and for every 2,000 in between, you draw a card. So, say you're at, you have 1,000 less than your opponent, you activate it, you draw 1. Say you play a copy of Gift Card, and your opponent's life points are 3,000 now, you activate Hope for Escape, draw 2. So it works pretty easily. And you just keep drawing till you go. Now, back to that little question we had about try and guess. Try and guess is as long as both players have an extra deck, declare one type of monster, Synchro, Ixie, or Fusion, and whichever player has more of them gains 3,000. So, you play one card in your extra deck. Can anyone guess what it is? Can any? One Fusion monster. My personal choice is Chimera Tech Fortress, because, say in the odd chance that your opponent puts out 4 monsters and 1 copy of Cyber Dragon, and all the other 4 machine, you can make him. Not that you'd want to, not that you need to, but you can. You can play anything you want. Panzer Dragon, the Guardian of something. There's a Guardian one. I don't know. I'm trying to think of some completely ridiculous one. Ojama King. Whatever. You can pick one Fusion. Then you can declare anything. The reason I picked Fusion is because, even if you were playing against Shadal's, which is Popular's format, you can still call Fusion, and try and guess will most likely let you have them gain 3,000. Therefore, second playset of Gift Card. So that's my throw out idea of Exodia. As I said, choices I make, like the Crystal Sears and the Mole and Card Trader, heck, even the 1 copy MST, can all be traded in for other options. These are just things I think are good. The Eye of Truth, Mind Crush. It works though. I like it. So, thank you for watching. As always, this is Jerry Bean Yellow. Which, by the way, some of you may have seen us at regionals this past weekend. Which, you're thinking, well, he said he'd mention us. Or one of us said they would. We will be. Our tournament videos will be up soon. We didn't get to record them this weekend. It was just this week, it was just kind of a long week. So, you will see those hopefully up over the next coming week. So, if you've expected to see you talked about, hang in there. We'll be there for you. But, have fun, keep dueling, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.